good evening, traders from across the globe, and welcome to the 1337th edition of Short-Term Trading live with Carboni, and of course that would be me. Good evening, traders. We need to get into this very quickly because markets are flying around. Video number 1337 is being filmed on a Monday night for trading Tuesday, June 30th, 2015. This business, trading futures, is extremely risky, can cause substantial financial loss, can make the hair go right off your head in one bad trade. Forget about losing your money. Be like Tony. Be really, really careful out there because this is not suitable for everybody. Put your stops in before you even consider getting into a trade. In conditions like this, stops can be overran, but it's all you have in these volatile times to keep you knocked out of a bad trade. Put your stops in, put them in first, let's get moving. Talk about holiday reversals. Oh my God, have you been watching the S&P and the NASDAQ? Now that is a holiday reversal. That's scary. So we've got holiday reversals. That may be all this is. We'll see what happens. Wouldn't that be great? Talk about Chart Masterpiece. Chart Masterpiece calls for another red omni. Yuck. That's going to be three. Is it three in a row now or four? Guys, you paying attention? 3, 4. I think it's 3 videos in a row with red omnis now. Chart Masterpiece giving us a red omni. What that symbolizes for me is a possible sea change for a little while. We are day traders, so everything's always short term here. But I've been using Chart Masterpiece to get us long for months on end. I'm using Chart Masterpiece to get us short tomorrow. That's interesting, right? Let's continue watching that over time and see where it goes. I have a question. You know, the markets are falling down and all I hear about is Greek news. Are we getting Greeked? I mean, does your butt hurt? Because mine is starting to, listening to this nonsense. I don't understand why everyone in the world thinks Greece, which if you come to Boston in the United States, we've got a bigger GDP coming out of Boston than Greece does coming out of Greece. I mean, really? Do you think it matters whether Greece is in the EU, in our economy, in the world's economy, out of the world's economy? If everyone retires tomorrow and doesn't go to work again, do you think that's actually going to change the world's stock market? It's not the Greek news doing this. The Greek news is in people's heads. They have a perception it's going to be a bad thing. You've got China falling down a cliff right now. A lot of U.S. companies have gotten involved in China in the last couple of years. Everything's pulling back a little. Interest rates are heading up a little bit. Everything's pulling back a little. I don't think the top is in, but Omni's been calling for something since June 6th. And lately, I've been putting out bearish videos. In fact, I mentioned last night, this month, I think there were 3 bullish videos out of all the videos this month. That is so opposite of what you usually get from me, but that's what the charts call for, and that's how I report it. So, if we've had more bearish videos than bullish, and we're getting red omnis 3 in a row, Chart Masterpiece calling for the downside, you've got me talking bearish, which doesn't happen all that often. Obviously, the charts are pointing towards something, because this isn't my opinion. This is coming from the charts directly. I just read the news to you. So, I say, I don't think it's the Greek news for real. It's just in people's heads. It's a perception problem. We do have a red omni for tomorrow. We'll see how that's going to go. And maybe, just maybe, it's a massive holiday reversal. Traders, I want to show you some charts with no further ado. Let's go! Look at some charts. Traders, Chart Masterpiece. Wow. I hate using it for the opposite side, but hey, I don't care which way it goes as long as we can catch it. And what's interesting about this Chart Masterpiece is now that I am using it for the other side, we're all the way down here. We actually broke the average. Now, you'll note that when it does break, you know, it moves a little bit. It doesn't just break that much. So this is the second time out of 13 attempts to hit this average that it didn't actually hold. 11 times it did, but when it does break, it gets slightly substantial. Still short term. It doesn't really go that far, but it comes down enough for us short-term traders to be short, not long. That's Chart Masterpiece on S&P. You look at Chart Masterpiece, it's the exact same chart, exact same averages on NASDAQ, and you will note that NASDAQ tends to pierce this a lot further, and it stays around for a little bit longer. Last time it pierced it, it went down that far. This one, this one, this one. These two held, but you pierced it and you settled down here. So is that coming? More likely than not. So we have to be selling rallies at least for Tuesday in the NASDAQ. Then you've got dailies. Traders, last night I showed you this chart and I said, listen, I am a proponent of absolutely buying a big gap in the morning, or anytime that there's a gap. I tell you all the time we're in a bull market, buy that gap, except for last night. I stepped in front of the screen and said, listen, I think it's going to be a breakaway gap. Do not buy it this time. I don't think it gets filled. I think we end up lower. Very rare to hear that come from me in a bull market. This was the chart I put in front of your eyes last night, so this is where it was. And this is what happened. I mean, again, look, here's where it was, and this is what happened. Oh my God, really? We actually had a breakaway gap. It did not fill, and we dumped. And you know where it settled? It came all the way down here, and it settled right there. That, for now, for day trading purposes, is a breakaway gap. That was a very interesting call. The flat top, the triple top that needs a pullback, the breakaway gap. Everything looks interesting for a holiday reversal week, right? Next, emini S&P daily bar. I showed you this last night, and I said OTAPMA was violated. When on the gap opening, if you remember, it actually opened right about here. So I said, wow, OTAPMA was violated on the opening. Last time it got violated, I drew the rectangle in. Look what it did. So I put a rectangle here. So that's where it was in last night's video. Today happened, and this is where it went. Look at that one. You know, these things, I'm calling this the night before based on analysis, right? You can't beat it. So very nice there. Next, Russell. Showed you this chart, put the OTAPMA there and said, here is your target for tomorrow. Here's where it was, and this is what happened. Oh my God. Look at that. It went right to the target. You can't make this stuff up, traders. That's insanity. It went right there. Next, Dow Jones Transportation Average. This is the one I showed you last night. I told you that this is the one that's finally going too far, and it's weighing on the other indices, and we want to be short the other indices, and this is going to break, and I showed you this last night. In last night's video, it looked like this, and this is what happened since. I mean, look at the both of those together. Oh my goodness. Now, I'm showing you this chart because this is the calm, happy version of what's going on. I'm going to show you a couple of more versions of the very same Dow Jones Transportation Average chart. And if you ask me, these are very scary looks. Look at this one. Dow Jones Transportation Average on one of my OMNI averages. It never really breaks it. If it does, it's quick. It breaks it. Makes a bear flag. Drops down into its projection area. Makes a bear flag. Drops down once again. Here's a picture of it. Let's back this out a little bit now. Let's go look at a little bit further down the road. Look at this. That's the same exact chart. What I want to show you is it's very rare that you get far under this average, but if you do, it's pretty substantial. And this is baby food compared to that move right there. We'd have to go all the way down to about here in order to match what happened here. So if we are now going to break as far as we did when we broke the average here, right here, wow, these are very telling flags, traders. That's what I wanted to bring to your attention. Do your own charts, always. Do your own analysis, and then come join me at livewithoscar.com, and I'll teach you how to read the charts the way we do here. So, traders, you've seen the chart. You've got my technical argument for why we need to keep a red OMNI up here again for a third day. You've seen Chart Masterpiece. Now flip us to the other camp, right? We have no choice now. We go into the bear camp, and we do what the bears do. If it stops and heads back up, back into the bull camp. But for now, we jump on over. We have no bias towards this market. We're not bulls. We're not bears. We're traders. Whatever comes, we take. Downside, so be it. Let's jump on it. So, talk about reversals. Hopefully that's all it is. Let that go. We'll see towards the end of the week. Chart Masterpiece, thank you very much. Hopefully that keeps us in check. And are we getting Greek? You know what? Let's hear something at least, because if you're going to Greek me, serenade me first. Give me some wine. I mean, seriously, with these Greeks, I've heard enough. I think it's time that we stop speaking about Greece and just figure out what the market is going to do, because that really is just a pimple on the back of our economy. All right, traders, I'll see you all at livewithoscar.com. Remember, Try to keep your emotions out of trading. One of the best things you can do to help yourselves with that is say this to yourselves every morning, every afternoon, every evening, and you know what that is. Stops are in. Emotions are out. Last but not least, 1990, then 1956. If we start to go, those are two projections the emini S&P could see. I'll see you at livewithoscar.com. Futures trading is risky and can cause substantial financial loss. We do not claim or guarantee that you will profit from the information provided.